It was one of the biggest episodes that we've done.
Yeah.
So about 250,000 views just on YouTube. That's not on anything else. So
Wow.
we did over 1 million views across all the platforms. And I was like, we got something.
Hello, welcome to Conversations with Verdel Jones. I'm your host, Verdel Jones, and we are about empowering your passion with purpose. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today's guest is a powerhouse in media and storytelling. Tiana Heath, aka Miss T Talk, turned her passion for impactful narratives into a thriving career as a multimedia producer, content creator, and media strategist. So we are going to have a conversation with her and dive in to find out how she did it and why she's so passionate about giving us stories that really matter. So Tiana, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Verdel, for having me.
Yes, I'm really excited to have you here. As I said off camera, that I was really, really looking forward to this conversation because I said Tiana's a powerhouse, and I really meant it.
Oh,
You're doing great things. Great things.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So let's get right into it. You've built a career around powerful storytelling.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, powerful storytelling. Where did your passion for media and or storytelling kind of begin?
It began in high school. So in high school, I was like, okay, because they're like, okay, what do you want to be when you grow up? I think you got like that conversation. I know growing up, like when you're little, they asked you, but high school, I had to nail it. I nailed it in the coffin. So it was either I go to school and become a detective, well, a cop then a detective, or become a talk show host and just still do crime while I do, producing and stuff like that. So I just was like, you know what? I'm going to go to school for radio and television. Mm-hmm. So, and I talk a lot. So everybody used to be like, Tiana can talk so much, this, that, and the third. I was nominated for most talkative in high school.
One of those superlatives that they have, right?
Yes, I was nominated. But I won most likely to become famous.
Oh, wow.
Yes, 2012. I'm showing my age here. Yeah, so I was like, okay, now I'm destined. And then in that picture in the yearbook, I had a mic in my hand. I was like, I want to be a talk show host. So I went to school for radio and television, and I learned so much from Suffolk Community College I went to Brooklyn College, mm-hmm. where I graduated from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have a great program over there, yes. Brooklyn College. Absolutely. Yes. So did you have any role models in that area, and that's what made you decide to do this, or was it just something that was in you, so to speak?
I think it was something that was like in me, mm-hmm. but growing up, I did have role models. I loved Steve Harvey. One of my now role models was like Issa Rae, mm-hmm. and like the Oprah, like back in the day, Tyro, because we had talk shows. We mm-hmm. had talk shows for a very, very long time. Mm-hmm. So I seen myself being in that realm. Like I love Tamron Hall. Like I love Sherry. I love all of the Jennifer Hudson even. These modern day talk show hosts. Wendy's my girl. Wendy. But I wanted to I'm like, I want to try to get into that mm-hmm. because I feel like in 2012, media was so much different than it is now.
Right.
We didn't have podcasting. We didn't have social media. Like, we didn't have
in the way
social.
It is now,
it
right?
It is now. Like,
mm-hmm.
we had the YouTube back in the day.
In its infancy, I think YouTube kind of was. Then now it's just it's exploding.
You can have a career.
Right, you can have a career.
Yes.
Exactly. And so that leads me to my next question. You have your own network.
Yes.
TTU Network. So
yes.
the T Talk Universal Network.
Yes.
And it has so much depth to it. It really, really does. You started off with your T Talk, that was your signature show mm-hmm. where you interviewed all types of people, whether it be entertainment or, things like that. People sharing their journey as a business mm-hmm. owners. But then you also have a show called Missing on Long Island, which you started in 2019.
Yes.
Which is powerful. I had a chance to see, an episode of that, and it was just a powerful piece that you did. And And that focuses on Long Island, people missing on Long Island, correct?
Yes,
Yeah. And then you also have Beyond the Bottle.
Yes.
So you have been able to build a network with all of these different aspects of it. How did you go about figuring out these things that I mentioned and really putting it together and saying, this is what I want to do and this is how I want to structure my network?
I wanted to tell real stories. So one of the taglines is, each view tells a story. Because I wanted to do something like that. I'm like, I wanted to be like the modern HBO, the TLC, especially TLC, because TLC has a lot of unscripted reality TV.
Yes.
And that's what I wanted to focus on, is unscripted. Scripted is a little bit more harder. You got to hire writers. The camera is a little bit more. But when you have real, authentic, raw people talking about what they've gone through or what they've been through, I think is different in that lens. And I wanted to capture that on camera and for thousands of people to see when it comes down to missing on Long Island. Like I mentioned before, I wanted to go to school for crime. So I'm like, nobody's really talking about the missing people out here, especially 2019. 2019, nobody was really talking about it. I feel like, we have the News 12s, but they get that 5 seconds on.
And that's it.
We need a full story. Let's talk to the family. Let's get the social media involved. Now that social media is so powerful, social media has solved cases. So let's get social media involved and create shows that are like missing on Long Island. And when we did that, me and my partner Anthony, Jason, Sabrina, back in 2019, we were like, let's do this. And it was one of the biggest episodes that we've done.
Yeah.
So about 250,000 views just on YouTube. That's not on anything else. So we did over 1 million views across all the platforms. And I was like, we got something. And it was really good. And people were really trying to solve the case. And different people saw the show and recreated it in different languages. That's when you know you did something.
Oh, wow.
So, so people were like, yeah. Then they referenced my show because I was the only person who got the interview of that mom and that family.
Right, yeah.
At the time.
Absolutely. And and you know what, that's really what struck me also in that particular episode that we're speaking of, and that was Isaiah.
Isaiah's episode came out last year.
Okay.
The first episode with Sophia McKenna came out in 2019. Okay. But Isaiah's episode, as you've seen, that was her first post interview.
Right.
Of finding out what happened to her son.
So it takes someone who's genuine and also who really has that empathy to be able to speak to a mother who is looking for their son or who has had something tragically happen to their son. So that's a testament to the skill set that you have in doing that, getting that out of people. It's really, really key. So thank you for that. In that, and I think you kind of stated it, but in creating the content that resonates with people, how do you go about doing that and keeping their attention and making sure that you cover a story, let's say, that resonates with folks?
Yes. So I can talk about that, like the last episode, Justice for Isaiah. It was a very big story in New York and across the country. Of what happened to him, and we still do not have answers on who did, his tragic death. We do not know, but people wanted answers. They wanted to know what happened, his whereabouts. You have to tell the story with integrity, and make it a safe space for the family. So I make sure every family that I talk to, you have to make it a safe space for them. Because, the police is a little bit, they do their job.
They're doing their job.
They're like, Me, I'm just like, we can sit down. Here's some tissue. Here's some, let's talk about the story. And talk about, that story was broader concept. We're talking about gun violence in Long Island. So that's a little bit more about that story. That's why I named it Justice for Isaiah, because we still are seeking justice for Isaiah. And then we're talking about gun violence, and people, talk about gun violence, but we just need that on that type of network that I created. And then I'm a millennial at that. I'm in my 30s. But I'm a younger lady speaking, producing and creating content of that sort. And then a show Beyond the Bottle is about people who stop drinking alcohol. So I've been I don't drink alcohol anymore. I stopped almost 2 years ago in June. I think
Nice.
2 years. But I wanted to talk to people who've had like real like issues with alcohol,
Struggles or dependency.
because we see that all the time,
Right.
and addiction, and it was such a great limited series to come out with
And highlight that, and so people can see themselves in others as well.
Yes.
That's a lot of what talk shows and are seeing yourself in someone else, and you're not alone.
Right.
You're not alone. What do you think has been the most challenging projects that you've had to work on across all of the entities within your network?
Probably, I would say Missing on Long Island. I did do a a really limited series. I'll still talk about it. I did take it off the internet, but I still would love to talk about it. It was like a limited series called Till Death Do Us Part.
Oh.
So I did a little limited series about widows who lost their spouse.
Oh, wow.
That happened to my dad. So my mom tragically passed away about 3 years ago.
Oh, goodness.
But I didn't realize that that's what people needed to hear. I took it down because I'm like, oh my God, we're getting too much views. My dad's on the internet. I gave him a digital footprint. So then I was like, I gotta take it off. But I didn't realize how many widows that we have.
Yeah.
And they connected with my dad, and I was just like, OMG. I was like, wait. But I think that was a little bit difficult because that's my...
Personal.
Yeah, it's personal. It's literally my story, my dad, digital footprint. And it did really well at the time. That came out last year on Valentine's Day.
Oh, okay. Oh,
and
wow.
then Missing on Long Island, of course, it's scary because that's real life, real people.
It's not a made up thing.
It's not fabricated,
Right,
not even a little bit.
Right.
So
yeah.
it's you have to have a lot of empathy, gratitude when you're doing something like this, integrity. Because you have to tell the story the right way. And then you're seeing these family members cry, and you're recording it, and you're asking them questions. It's like, you gotta get the producer out, get the director out, and try to not get into those types of feelings.
Absolutely.
Because you can get into your feelings.
I'm sure you can. Yeah, that's difficult.
To control it is
It really is. It's difficult. You want to cry with them.
Yeah.
move over.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cry with
like,
you.
No, and we have tissues. I'm like, oh my goodness, because it's so.
It is.
It's so hard, but I love that I'm able to tell these stories, and then on top of the Missing on Long Island show, we've post missing person cases, and we have helped solve some throughout Long Island.
See, that's important work.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely important work. In this, we were talking a little bit about YouTube and different platforms that you would show in media, and it is just, it's a very saturated market. So how do you stay ahead of the curve? How do you stand out? And what do you do? And what do you think about when you are creating content and how to deliver it so that people can see it?
I try to stand out. I mean, true crime is like the number 2 genre in the entire like like in the world, like really.
Right, really.
Number 2 is like true crime. And I think that I found my niche. I'm like, I kind of want to stick with true crime, but I am going to be rolling out different shows that's going to be more personable about people.
Okay.
And because I want to create shows that we don't see much. I want to create, or try to create. At least what I like to do is put these concepts out and have people gravitate towards it, because I love to do stuff like that. So I want to create content that I'm really not seeing. Like, I didn't see anybody really talk about not drinking alcohol, or people talk about missing people on Long Island. That was very specific to where I'm from. So I obviously, of course I see missing people shows, but out here,
you wanted to really concentrate on Long Island. So that brings me to my next question in reference to the network itself. So what is the future of TTU network, and where do you see it in the future? And I know you have some things that you're working on, so can you share that with people?
Yeah, of course. This is like an exclusive. But like I said, so I am doing 3 different concepts to a show. So these shows might be produced, they might not be produced. But it's still good to have a casting call for each 3. So I want to do like a TTU summer series where I drop 3 times a week. Or if these shows are produced, I will drop 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Oh, wow.
Depends.
Ooh.
So one of the shows is called I Was Ghosted.
Oh.
So
That is a good one.
Yeah. So it's about people that have been ghosted by family, jobs, people, loved ones, anything, relationships.
I love that.
A lot of people have shared it. I just posted it the other day. I know this is coming out a little bit after, but I did post it yesterday, and a lot of people shared it. I think people scared to tell their story.
Right.
But it's okay just to
everybody has that story.
Everybody has that story.
Right. Yeah.
So just have that one concept out there, I think is great. So people know that I potentially might work on that.
Right.
I'm only going to produce it if I get people to cast. So I kind of want to put myself like out there.
Right.
The other shows I haven't posted, but it'll be posted by the time that this comes out.
Okay.
It's called We Inherit More Than Genes. So We Inherit More Than Genes is going to talk about family trauma or just things that you have inherited from your family. It could be wealth. It can be you come from a famous family. It could be anxiety. It could be mental illness.
Absolutely.
It can be family trauma, betrayal, secrets. That one is very deep.
Very deep.
And I haven't seen a show that people are sitting down and be like, this is what happened.
Right.
So I definitely want to come out with something like that. And then my last show, which I didn't see myself going in this direction, but there's a show for everyone. But the last show is called Comedians Have Feelings Too.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
So so that one is about like these comedians. They make you laugh, right? They're the star of the show. But what happens when those curtains close?
And a lot of them have a lot of issues going on.
Right?
Yeah.
What is their story behind the laughs? So those are the 3 shows that I've came out are going to be posting and having people cast for it. And hopefully we can produce it because real people, real stories.
Right.
But those are the 3. And then I would probably do another Missing on Long Island show. Right. So we have more things come to the network, and I would love to have other people's shows come to the network as well.
I love that.
Yeah. So it's we're almost at 6,000 subscribers on YouTube. Yes. Which is great.
Yes. So tell people how they can reach out to you and subscribe and all of that. Yes. Because you're doing some fabulous things. Yes. You're I'm very impressed. So tell people how they can reach out to you.
Okay. So on Instagram, I am Miss Tea Talk, MSTEETALK. And on YouTube, I am the TTU Network, TTU Network. And you can find me on Miss Tea Talk really on everything. And Tiana Heath, like LinkedIn me and stuff like that. So,
I want to thank you so much for being a guest on Conversations with Verdel Jones.
Thank you.
I get to interview a professional here. So make sure that you support Tiana, subscribe to her YouTube channel. It is so important to share our stories, and she does such an amazing job of sharing the stories and stories that resonate with individuals. So I want to thank you again for being a guest. And remember, in the words of Maya Angelou, when you learn, teach, and when you give. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and follow us on social media so you will never miss an episode.